Welcome back, everyone. We have our first guest, Logan Herring, the CEO of the Work Group. Logan, welcome. Yes, thank you.
I feel that when you mention Logan, like you need some theme music or something, right? Remember, I'm gonna get you suckers. Like everyone needs theme music. He needs that band in front of him. Cause
You say superheroes without capes, right?
Right.
Yes.
Because you're doing some great stuff, man.
Thank you.
And first of all, we just want to hop in this $10 million that you received from Chris Coons, Carper, and Lisa. Can you tell everyone what that was about? What that was for?
Yeah, it's for the new Kingswood Community Center that we will be building. It's a $42 million facility.
Wow.
We have raised over $22 million now. That $10 million was a big help, and it'll be about a 100,000 square foot facility.
Wow.
What can that do for that community over there, along with that project that you're working on?
So the new Kingswood is going to be, we believe, the biggest draw to the community. The housing is great. The housing looks beautiful. Shout out to D Reed, who's a part of that. But a $42 million community center is not just going to give pride and restore, that faith in the community, but also people that, have the option to want to move in as well, because we're doubling the capacity of the housing in the community. So we're going from 300 homes to 600 homes.
All right.
So we're going to need people who want to choose to live in the neighborhood to come in, who's not going to be attracted to a $42 million facility.
Right. So this is a part of the Healthy Communities Initiative, correct?
Well, so it's purpose-built communities.
Purpose-built
communities. We're one of 28 purpose-built communities around the country, and purpose-built is funded by 3 billionaires, one of them Warren Buffett. So we're in good company.
Good company.
Yes. So real quick for our viewers that may not know what the Work Group is, so could you share with our viewers what is the Work Group?
Yeah, so the Work Group is a collaborative of what I call 3 tax-exempt businesses. I don't like to refer to them as nonprofits because I believe we operate as a business. The Warehouse, Riverside, and Kingswood Community Center. So we came together to have the greatest collective impact, and that's what we're doing, to share our resources, share our talents, to have the greatest collective impact in the neighborhood.
How long has the, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. There's a lot of info right here.
This is important information that I want our viewers to know. So how long has the Work Group been around now?
So we've been in existence since 2018. That's when Riverside and the Warehouse really came online. They're brand new startup tax-exempt businesses. But Kingswood has been in business since 1946. So a lot of people don't know, I started at Kingswood in 2016 in an effort to turn around Kingswood. It was about to go out of business. My predecessor didn't make such wise decisions, and took us about 2 years to stabilize the organization. And then we used Kingswood's foundation to build Riverside and the Warehouse, and that was kind of the birth of the Work Group.
Excellent, excellent. I've only heard wonderful things about the Warehouse. I know my teen title holder, which you met, Miss Delaware Teen USA, 2021 Sky Knox.
My little cousin.
Yes, okay. She always spoke so highly about the Warehouse. And she volunteered there and worked there and has given back so much. And she only has said it's been not only inspiring for her, but so many young teens look up to her. As you know, she's just so influential, and she's incredible.
Yeah, she's awesome.
So I've only heard wonderful things about the Warehouse and what it offers our community and the youth. So it's great what you're doing over there. So if anybody that hasn't checked out the Warehouse, they should, because I think it's a great facility for our youth and the community.
Well, our youth created it. It's created for teens by teens. They designed it in partnership with the architects. They choose all the programming that comes in. They chose all of the furniture that's in the building. They chose everything. And so my board co-chair is Anaya Patterson. She's at Delaware State University on a full scholarship, and she has been working with us since the age of 15, and she is my board co-chair of the Warehouse. So my boss is a teenager.
That's so awesome. But you're listening to what the teens want, and you want them to feel comfortable when they come to a facility like the Warehouse. So it's made by teens, for teens. What better way to accomplish these goals and making sure that it's a facility that will attract our youth?
Well, every good business is consumer driven.
Right.
So, I mean, you look at Amazon, Netflix, I mean, you listen to the consumer, you can have a successful business. That's why I call it tax-exempt business, not a nonprofit.
Right.
I hate the stigma of that, we should have this charity mentality and do things on the cheap. No, we spent $3 million renovating the Prestige Academy building.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, and it looks wonderful. You came on back in 21 when we first went really live with Good Morning Wilmington. What has changed from now with the work group from then to now?
What year is it now?
22. It's been a year. It's been a
What has changed? Oh my, I mean, let's go back to 2019. Since 2019, and I don't say this too loudly because then people say, oh, you got all the money over there. But we've raised over $78 million since the end of 2019, which really allows us to accelerate the work, scale, bring on different talent and team members to really push this effort forward. And a lot of people say, what's your biggest challenge? Our biggest challenge, I believe, is our success. Because people say, well, you're so successful, we need to, slow down a little bit and go over in other neighborhoods. And I said, we got to get it right first.
Right.
We're not slowing down, and I've said this to the mayor, I say this to Robbie Chin, we don't slow down at the riverfront. We don't slow down downtown.
So why should
it's
we slow
what's
down?
needed,
Right.
And I live downtown. I venture to the riverfront, make my walks, quite often, but it's what needed to do this type of work. And in the neighborhood that's been the most disinvested, we can't stop the investments now. So this is a $300 million project. We've leveraged over $117 million, but we still got a ways to go. So we're not stopping anytime soon.
Right, you're throwing out big numbers, but what people don't understand, those are the numbers that are necessary to get to where we need to go, and consistency is key.
Absolutely.
So I totally agree, and you're right. When you're throwing out the big numbers, people that may not understand what's happening, they think, oh, you have plenty of money, we're fine, we don't need to give you any more support or any more donations. No, we need to keep going,
right?
Because we have a long ways to go before we have more changes that need to keep happening. But going back to that mentality of consistency is key.
Absolutely, from your mouth to God's ears.
There you go. Have you, on a personal side of things, Logan, with the success of the work group and the hard work and the dedication and that you had to put in, at any point were you scared? Were you frightened? Where would like to say, okay, this is not going to happen. I need to change my way, my.
No, to be honest, the only time I was scared was when I joined Kingswood as the interim executive director.
Okay.
Because we had missed payroll. Like, I didn't know if I was going to be able to get paid, let alone anyone else make sure that they got paid. So in the beginning, yes, but the stars aligned for this project every single time. Just received an email on the way here from a potential, significant contributor. But everybody's behind this project, and we just continue to build momentum. So anytime I think that I might feel a little bit of doubt or be scared a little bit, I get a confirmation to keep going.
Right. No, those are signs. They always say if something scares you, that means you need to do it.
Right.
You need to take on that challenge. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it. So the fact that you have that little ounce of fear, that means you care even more.
Absolutely.
And that's what we need. You're the driving force.
Yeah, well, I'm part of it.
Well, you're leading it. I could tell.
What advice would you give young executive directors, just say in the beginning startup of a nonprofit, right? Because they don't see like cats like us, right? But they see you and you're like, they thinking all this money, that you're bringing in. They don't really see how much work is involved. What advice would you give them?
Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. So I get people all the time say, well, how can I start a nonprofit and how do I get my license and this, that, and the other? And I say, just start doing the work. Like I think my history. I started a nonprofit with my best friend Eugene Young and my brother Shannon Watson. Eugene and I were 23, and this was back in 2006. And so we did the typical thing that I tell people not to do, which is for 6 months, a year, we're just in the room planning and doing our bylaws, this and the other. And eventually, we got to get started. Like, kids need us.
Right.
And once you start doing the work, you realize, let's change that, let's tweak that, let's do something different. So just start doing the work, and then everything else will fall in line.
Just falls right in line.
Yep.
I hear it. I love it. I love it. What's the time frame on this new facility?
So we're looking at the end of 2024. My goal is to finish the fundraising for the new facility by the end of this year. We just chose our construction manager, EDIS.
Okay.
And so let me just give you one example, because I know we're running short on time, of how.
Short on time.
We have plenty of time.
Okay, let's do it.
And they're like 5 minutes.
Don't
We're like,
worry.
we
Don't
need
tell
10
me
minutes.
that. I'm not trying to pull a Bobby Brown, though. I know we got some people over here. I'll take as much time as needed. But so in 2017, after I joined Kingswood, it was the first Do More 24 United Way. And we came out like a force for Do More 24. And part of the first competition was to release a video to show why people should support your cause. So we did a video, and we featured Deontay Martin, who was a teenager who was working at Kingswood, who had grew up in Riverside, and then he was working at Kingswood. And he talked about how Kingswood saved his life, and if it weren't for Kingswood, he'd be dead or in jail like a lot of his friends. So Brian DeSabatino, head of EDIS, reached out and said, can you connect me with this kid? Since then, he had been working in an internship at EDIS. He went to the Williamson School of Trades. He just graduated. As soon as he graduated, Brian offered him a job. Deontay is going to be the project manager for the project. Man. So anytime you drive up to Kingswood and you see that young face on the mural, that is Deontay. So you talk about, I'm getting a chill saying, you talk about full circle. Yeah. And I think it's a great segue to, I believe, maybe the next guest, D Reed, who talks about building the homes. And I'm sorry I'm stealing your thunder, but like working on the homes right across the street from where you grew up, man. Like, so. A huge part of our project is making sure we have representation. Right. Not just me as a black man leading this effort, but every aspect of the way, even the warehouse, it's led by teens. Our efforts in the community with the revitalization effort is led by people who are representative of the community, who come from the community. Right. So you talk about doing it the right way. Our tagline at Reach Riverside is with the community, for the community, and that's what we're all about. I would love, and Najee, let me know, I would love to bring D Reed in on this. This conversation that just have the two perspectives of people, one that grew up in the community, one that was on the board back then, and just that synergy. So can we get another chair to bring him in real quick? Let's do it. Yeah, I would love to bring D Reed in real quick. I'll tell you what, let's go to commercial real quick, and we'll be right back with D Reed and Logan Herring. 30 seconds. Welcome back to Good Morning Wilmington. I'm Ivan Thomas. I'm here with my lovely co-host Vincenza.
Hello.
So we're having a conversation with Logan Herring, and we just decided to bring in Derrick Reed, and we wanted to just talk about like the synergy, which you said earlier, Logan, was full circle. And I think when you think of this project of what the work group they're doing, and then everyone has a big part, right? Designed by kids, created by kids. Your co-chair is a Delaware State University student, and then now the people that are involved in the structure of the homes being built are Derrick Reed, who is the owner of Trust, His Image, Easy Transit, author of Mindset Go, who lived in Riverside, and from the house where he used to live, now building houses in this purpose community that you're running the point on. How is that, D Reed? How is it, man?
Oh man! First of all, I'm just happy to be on here with Logan, man. Who's actually just an awesome CEO. I mean, doing a wonderful job, man. And I always tell him that he's doing a great job. When I first got the opportunity, thanks to Logan and actually King of the Bird too. You know what I mean? The Sabatino company, for having us over there as a minority-owned construction company, which is pretty rare, for us to be on the platform like that. Ivan, honestly, it's overwhelming. I was just at Riverside yesterday, and I lived across the street, and the projects that's still there are still there. My wife is from the projects over there, you know what I mean? And it was overwhelming because it's like you actually get the experience, what Logan said, full circle. I used to run up and down those streets in Riverside and, playing on the playground, or even going down Kingswood, at the rec center, and to have my company over there being part of the revitalization of Riverside, it's amazing. It's overwhelming. It's very emotional. Yes. And it's like, I cannot believe that this young guy was running up and down these same streets, or over here on the other side of the streets, rebuilding it. And
have you cried yet?
A little bit, you know what I mean? But it's one of the things where it's so overwhelming that you just know it's going to break soon, like an ocean, you know what I mean? Because it's surreal, you know what I mean? When do a kid get a chance to open up a company that's actually came back to the neighborhood where he's from and help rebuild it. You know what I mean? We're not doing it by ourselves. Right. It takes a team. It takes a good leadership. It takes other companies to come in, and we just have to be one of those companies that's there, revitalization, Riverside, my old neighborhood. So it's overwhelming, man.
And just getting to know you, Derrick, it's truly inspiring.
Yeah, thank you.
It really is, and I'm glad that we're able to give you a platform to share your story and your background, because it gives hope to others that may have that goal.
Absolutely.
And I love that, and I love that you're able to give back to the community that you grew up in, because you know what's needed. You were there growing up, you know what's needed, and you know where it needs to go. And you're able to give that with your own bare hands.
Absolutely.
Which is
name,
amazing.
In the name Reach Riverside, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times people don't leave and reach back, you know what I mean? So even the name alone, Reach Riverside, is just so awesome. And I remember when I first got the opportunity to be there, I think either Logan or somebody posted, we're bringing Derrick Reed back to Reach Riverside. And that's actually the name. And it blew my mind.
It's a thing. It's a thing. And like again, if you're from Delaware, if you're from East Side, West Side, if you're breathing and have blood running through your veins, that story alone means something, right? Like you taking something that, like you said, we didn't meet payroll, we didn't know what we was going to do, to turn it around, and now to where it is, to say, you know what, I'm gonna get this young black developer, right? Let him get a shot, and that looks good, not just for on paper, but it looks good for the fabric of what you're doing. How does that feel, Logan?
Well, I mean, it's amazing. So we do a tour every 2 weeks, sometimes every week. And so I've even called D Reed, and we had a huge tour about a month and a half ago. I mean, $1 billion funders come in. And I said, D Reed, we coming to the site. And then we were running late. I was like, can you come to the warehouse? And I mean, he just wowed them. And so we are a follow-up meeting this Friday, but it looks like they are going to provide us with like a $3 to $6 million contribution.
So I need to find a new barber.
Yeah. But no. But in all seriousness, you know what we're doing and what you're doing here. Like I walked into the set today and I was like, man, I'm so proud. And I was going to get on camera and make the comment that I usually make on Facebook was I was with you shooting in the gym. But this guy really was with you shooting in the gym, like before I even was talking about the free haircuts and buying you your first lights. That's what it's all about, is lifting each other up. So he's talking about reaching back, and the community's new name is going to be Imani Village. And that's something that I came up with because Imani means faith. Wow. And it takes a village to raise a child. So we put them both together. It's a beautiful thing. And so, I really hope I know the community will buy in to the culture that we are trying to restore, because Riverside, when you were growing up, it was a place where a lot of good people got their start.
Yeah,
like this man right here.
Yeah. And you say Imani, it's for the community. It's like, but it's built by the community as well. Yes. And I'm so just proud. Like you said, you got chills of your man that Deontay. Like, wow. Yeah. Like you ride by, you see him, and you ride by, and you see Derrick, and it just does something. Because I remember during the pandemic, we met him, and he said if it wasn't for the work group, or I would be locked up or killed, along with my other friends that I grew up with. How did you get from being a barber, right, to being owning a construction company? As a matter of fact, his construction company did these floors.
He's a business mogul. Wife opening up a new gym.
Mean Body Fitness opens this Sunday. So my wife, she's a fitness trainer, so she opened Mean Body Fitness. So we have the grand opening, 700 Cornell Drive, this Sunday, 1 to 4. So
you can't stop now.
He came in and told the funders, he was like, we met. We was holding hands on the stoop in Riverside right across.
He told the whole story.
He said, we've been together, no outside babies. Like he just went in, and the funders loved it because it was just so authentic. You know what I mean?
And we laughed at
it.
So I think this guy, I'm telling you, he really put me in a good position. I think next week, we got to meet with the governor.
The governor's coming through.
So we got to meet with the governor next week.
I'm happy for you, but I'm mad too because I got to change my barber. So you got to have one of those houses over there for me to just run through, and while he developing, he can give a brother a fade. But so how do you go from that? How do you go from barber to construction?
Well, it's funny. My dad was in construction. He owned a construction company. You know the story. Mom and dad been together and then get divorced, and he's not there. But just the time that my dad, we was cool. The time he was there, he had such an impact on me and my brother for entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? And he had a construction company. What I like to do is try to fill the void of things that we need in our community. A lot of times minority get bad names when it came to barbershops at one time, meaning that it was a haven for drug dealers at one time. So guess what? I opened up his image, which is all top notch and really professional. We used to get a bad name when it came down to construction on certain things. So guess what? I opened up trust, and it's called trust. So I want you to trust us and kind of rebuild that. So my thing is I try to fill the void, and change the narrative. So,
but it was a little different for the hair. Let's go back to the barbershop, the bad names, right? Yeah. You did something. You went and sat on the board, on the head of the cosmetology board for the state of Delaware. Delaware.
Yeah.
And then you wanted to change that for a lot of people that look like us that couldn't get their license. So you was making moves back then.
Yeah, because they had restrictions at one time where you couldn't get barber license or salon license or styling license if you had certain felonies or certain things on your record. So they was giving people a second chance. So the only way you can make changes is not being away from the table. You got to be at the table. So what happened? I ended up joining the board, and then maybe like 2 or 3 years later, I became the president of the Board of Cosmetology and Barbering, where I was able to help change the rules and legislation for them to give reentry another chance. So you got guys getting out of jail who can't get jobs, and they're like, well, I can cut hair. Well, you can if you got this felony. So what we did was we took that list of all the rules and we narrowed it all the way down. The only thing we left on there is really things to protect our children against things like that. But for the most part, if you're getting out of jail or whatever, you can get your barber license now. At one time, it wasn't like that. So I actually helped change that so guys can actually get a second chance to get their barber license.
Derrick, what don't you do?
Fly.
Fail.
Right.
Okay, that was deep.
Very good.
Very
I told you I was the humble one.
Right. Same question to you. Same question. Same question with you. What can't you do?
Fail.
He's speaking for you. You refuse to fail.
Yes.
But more so, I think that's that inner fire that you have in you from growing up. That
Broke,
you refuse.
growing up broke,
Yes.
growing up
I
broke,
just
growing
wanted
up
to-
when your baloney has no first name. You're like, I'm going to make it.
You tell it too much,
Yes.
Ive. You tell it too
My
much.
fault.
Yeah, no, but you have that fire in you
Yeah, thank
that
you.
you refuse to give up.
Yes,
And
true.
that's called tenacity
Yes.
and perseverance.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and I could sense it from I heard so much about you, Derrick, and what you're doing. And again, thank you for everything you're doing at Good Morning Wilmington at DETV, because he is a sponsor, folks. We're very grateful for that support.
Absolutely.
But what you're doing for the community, and you continue to do.
My pleasure.
And set that example and set that bar. You keep raising that bar so high.
right.
But
Yeah.
just to go back to Logan and to answer that question, Logan, like, yes, what don't you do? Do you?
I watch him,
Yeah.
so he definitely.
No, I just do, I think what I'm good at, and what I'm good at is I have a long history in coaching. So I also coach high school soccer and basketball. And what I understand is that you have to have talent, but you have to have someone who can assemble the talent, recruit the talent, and make sure everybody's in the right position so the team is successful. So that's all I do. I just make sure that we get the talent, get them on the team, put them in the right position to be successful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I love it.
Not what Steve Nash did with the Nets. So.
Oh no, that's so dirty. They did get
CEO of
swept.
the
They
year.
get swept, right? They out of there. What advice would you give D Reed? You were author. You came up with Mindset Go. Let's touch on that again. Your first book that you decided to write, right? Sold a bunch of copies, thousands of copies. Why Mindset Go?
I think that's where it starts at. Just like someone say before you start a race, it's ready, set, go. But it all starts in the mind, right? So I call it mindset go instead of ready, set, go. I got a quote in there where I said most people say when things get right, I'll make a move. But the reality is things get right when you make a move.
Right.
And you have to change our mindsets, right? So it starts there. So that's why I came up with mindset go. My thing is I want people to know that they can win. Not just believe it, but elevate to another level of knowing. Because that's the beginning of knowledge. So it's all about the mindset. And that's pretty much it. That's I want to inspire people that they can win. 'Cause a lot of people just really don't know or they don't believe, especially coming from the projects. But I have tapped in and I realized that anything's possible, and that's why I live. That's how I live. No limits.
Logan, what do you want people to know? The young black male to know, growing up. What would you tell him to inspire him to move?
See examples of people that look like you, and that's why it's important for us to be on this show today. What you're doing in media, what you're doing in everything, what I'm doing leading, business or whatever you want to call it. We have to see examples outside of playing basketball or football or hip hop. Those things are fine, but there are a lot more professions out in this world. So the more we can expose our young people, and that's where the warehouse comes in. We have a program called RISE, Reaching and Investing in Youth for Sustainable Employment, and they get exposed to different careers, and they can leave with a career recognized certification, so they understand what they are capable of doing and what's possible. But a lot of times you have to see an example of that first, and too often we don't get those opportunities in our community.
Yeah, and I'm going to touch before we get out of here. Talk to me about DSU. What you and DSU are doing at the warehouse?
Yeah, so we're, I just told you about RISE, and we're doing a special one called RISE to DSU. So DSU was gifted a building by Capital One, just like we were. And we're going to take a floor on that DSU building at the riverfront, and we're going to create Rise to DSU, where we're focusing on pathways to specific majors at DSU, so we can prepare them for that next step, which would be for those teens, college at Delaware State University.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Shout out to Tony Allen. He's
Absolutely.
Shout out to
Absolutely.
TA,
he's the co-chair of my advisory board.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. What's next for you, D Reed?
Right now we're going to just focus on Reach Riverside and get it done. I mean, it's a lot of phases involved.
You have a big project ahead of you.
Yes, and we just signed on, I think, to 30 more units. So we start in August, I think. So yeah, we're doing a lot over there. It's not overnight thing, but we're getting it done. So hey, and with the good leadership like this, we good.
We got the first residents moving in probably in the next 30 to 45 days.
There you have it, right there.
Yeah.
So when will that whole thing be wrapped up?
So you asking me? Well, let me tell you. So originally it was supposed to be a 24-year project. We're now down to like 10 to 12 years.
What?
Yeah.
Because of the amount of support.
Yeah.
You know, Governor Carney of the state of Delaware came in with $26.4 million. You ever seen a $26.4 million check?
Change your life.
I never had.
I got a picture of it, though. I'm
See,
telling
you know what?
That's
why I'm so glad.
Will it change your life?
No, it's going to change many lives.
There you go.
Yes.
Many lives. And so we're looking at maybe 10 to 12 years. 600 homes, 55 home ownership homes on Kingswood's property, another 30 in the master plan. We have a private developer that's going to build transitional housing for us for free.
Transitioning housing.
Transitional housing. So, you know, you just need stability. Whether it's for a week or a year, you have a place to go. So if you look at what happened last year with Hurricane Ida and all the people displaced, they had nowhere to go. We'll have somewhere to put them.
Where can, and I want to ask this question, how can people take advantage of the homes that are being built? A lot of people, I met a female the other day, and she was like, where do I start? I don't know if I have to sign up. So can you tell them how they can go about it?
I don't have the information on me, but there is a phone number in the email. I
Okay.
believe the property manager starts this week, I believe.
Okay.
Or next week. So we'll be able to start directing people to that person, and they can walk through the process.
Awesome.
Right now, we are reserving the majority of the homes for the existing residents, and that's what's beautiful.
Oh, so they can go.
Everyone that lives there now,
Yeah.
the goal is for them to live in.
Oh.
Yeah, and without displacement. So
Oh, that's different,
We're able
yes.
to build 200 homes on vacant land before having to demolish anything. That's why they're still there, because we didn't want to have to displace people off the property.
Thank you so much
we're
for explaining
reserving the
that.
homes,
Yes.
yeah. But there is a component of it. So the first phase is 74 homes. It'll be 59 affordable, and then 15 market rate. The market rate will be available for everyone.
So let me get back. Let me go back. Let me circle back, because I just want to make sure we're clear here. The homes are being built, and these are for home ownership.
No, they're rental.
They're rental.
There will be home ownership coming later.
Okay.
But not at the moment.
And the people that are living in Riverside right now,
They have the opportunity.
They come right back in.
Now, again, it's a 10 to 12 year project, so some people will get that opportunity sooner than others.
Understood.
So if people are still around,
Understood.
by the time their number gets drawn, then they will be able to.
Oh, okay.
And we're working with them, so if there are any criteria that they need to meet, the only criteria that we have right now, and I believe this is like 99% true, is that they're just current, which means that their electric bill is paid and they're current on their rent, and we even helping them get to that point. We have helped 21 families avoid eviction in the last 6 months.
And that is that whole ecosystem, that work group ecosystem right there, from purpose-built housing to the Reach River, to the teen warehouse, and to just bringing it all back together. I love what you guys do. Thank you. I brand new picture.
But you trying to move in?
Oh, I'll be in. I got 2 units coming.
We got 4 bedrooms too. If you try
Whatever you need.
I can't fit.
Real quick, Derrick, why don't you share with our viewers how they can contact you for your services with Trust Construction?
Oh, you can hit me up at Derrick at trust.com. Also, my manager, Kenneth at trustontheway.com, and DerrickDReed.com, pretty much. So, hey. That's it. And I also want to let people know too, we also hiring too. And the good thing about this program is that we can hire people in our demographics, which is great. You know, people that's right from around that way, around that area. We're looking for you. So hit us up on trustontheway.com. So yeah.
Trustontheway.com.
Trustontheway.com.
I love that. You guys are just such inspirations to everyone, and especially myself, man, to just keep on moving. Because at a given time, that sometimes we do feel like we're exhausted, right? We feel like we quit. Then I just go see what D Reed is doing, or see what Logan is doing, or see what my man at Nerd It Down, Marquivas is doing, or Saran, or even my man over.
And you're doing
Aaron
great things.
Bass.
Marquivas from Riverside.
Riverside.
How about that?
Yeah.
And
He's
it's
on my board at the warehouse.
And it's just
Marquivas
so
is
much inspiration that just says, all right, brother, keep on going. You know, it's all right. You can cry, you can get it over, you can get it out, but we got a community that needs us. So
Shout out to Aaron Bass, the #1 Dallas Cowboys fan.
You gonna blow him up like that?
I love Aaron, man.
They go back and forth on
#1
social
Dallas
media.
Cowboys
They're going
fan.
back and forth on
Go
live
ahead.
television.
That's your camera. So give
Aaron
it
Bass,
to him.
I'm so glad you joined the Dallas Cowboys Nation.
That is so
We
great.
appreciate your
I
support.
thought I seen him wearing blue.
I knew you were going to sign up eventually. I got your Cowboys hat in the office.
Yeah, and I want to shout out Aaron too. Aaron gave me my first commercial job to revitalize Eastside Charter School.
You did all the windows.
Yeah, with all that stuff out there. All that green is us.
He coming for you.
Oh, I didn't realize
He
that
coming
green.
for you.
But thank you for joining the Cowboys.
He's
That's
coming for you. Boy, they vicious. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
really
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it.